Coach Saleh available, we can start with questions.
Robert, could you just run down a couple of the guys, give us updates on a couple of guys who haven't been participating, like Corey Davis and Mims and Becton?
Yeah, I can give you on those three. With Corey Davis, if it was game week, he'd be rolling. He's one of those veterans that really doesn't need the reps. We have a lot of young guys on our roster, and he's perfectly fine, just working through a couple of nagging things. Same go when you talk about Becton. He's dealing with a foot, and it's nothing that needs surgery. It's really not that big of a deal. But as you guys all know, he's a very large human being, so we've asked him to stay off his feet, so we keep him inside during practice. But he's been in meetings, he's been doing workouts, he's been doing all that stuff. So he's fine. And then Mims was battling a non-COVID illness, and he should be at practice today.
Kai actually practiced, right? Because he was out there for a day or two before.
He came out. He did. He came out, and the first day, and his foot started bothering him, and we just took him off the field from there.
With Becton, Robert, he's kind of dealt with various ailments throughout his rookie year, and now kind of a foot issue. I know we've talked a ton about his weight. I mean, is this something where if he lost some, I know you've talked about speed and power and all, but if he was maybe a little bit lighter, some of these little nagging things wouldn't necessarily be happening? So I know big men and feet are kind of scary.
No, that's a good question, Connor. When you get, it's every player. When you take care of your body, when you're in shape and you're doing all the things that you need to do you think about it, their body is their moneymaker, right? And the amount of investment that you put into your body is the amount that it'll give back. And so that's part of the learning progression of young men. They've got to learn how to take care of their bodies. They've got to learn how to eat right, work out right, rest right, regen right, staying hydrated, and all those different things that lead to longevity in this league. And Makai is one of those. He's a young man. He's a very talented young man. He's a very large young man, and he's learning every day on what it takes to be a professional and how to make that next step. And so we got a lot of faith in him. He's doing all the right things right now, and we're excited to get him to training camp and get to work with him.
Hey, Robert, when you hired Jeff as your DC, I'm curious, what went into that, how he aligns with your defensive philosophies and whatnot. I know obviously you guys have worked together, but what are the things that kind of he brings to the table for you?
So Jeff, first, former player. If you ever get a chance to sit down with Jeff in a non-football setting, I mean, he's probably one of the most real dudes that you can actually be around. His knowledge of football, his mindset, the things that I believe in philosophically with the mindset of how to play this game, and the way you maximize players and with regards to scheme and all the details that come with it. And he can relate to him because he played the position. He played linebacker, and so he understands what worked for him and what worked for Patrick Willis and what worked for Navarro Bowman when he was with those guys. So it's and on top of it, being with him in Seattle and then Dan Quinn in Atlanta, he's got some recall, and he's got a lot of great thought and a lot of great information and a lot of great scheme that he can bring. So it's a lot of the Atlanta stuff is going to be a part of this, and along with ours and the San Francisco stuff, if you want to call it that, and what we're bringing from here. So it's going to be a good marriage in terms of not only philosophy but scheme.
Personality-wise, he's a very high-energy guy as well, which is very much your calling card. How combustible is that between the two of you guys in those defensive meetings, and where do you think that's going to take this thing?
No, that's awesome. So you know what? What's great about Ulbrich is that he's a tremendous teacher first. There's not a lot of fluff. There's not a lot of yelling. I don't believe in that in the meeting rooms. I don't believe in that on the practice field. I believe that even on the practice field, it's about teaching, and the moments that you see, the moments of energy and celebrations. They're not butt chewings, if you will. You know, it's an understanding of all the work that just went into each other, players, coaches, everybody. And so when great things happen on the football field, the excitement you see is for the player more than it is for anything else. And that's what Jeff represents. Jeff was a former player. He knows how much work needs to be put in. He knows how much work goes into just one play. And so when those plays are successful, that's what you see. So he is pure energy. He's real. He's a guy's guy, and it's awesome that we have him here. Thank you,
Robert. Jameson hasn't been around. Why is that?
So Jameson, obviously, he's working through some stuff with contract with Joe and his staff and agent and all that stuff. So really confident to get Jameson here quickly, and when we do, he definitely has a role for this team.
He has a contract, so maybe you could eliminate any confusion. What do you mean working through stuff?
You just got that'd be more of a Joe question, Rich.
Robert, with Tevin Coleman, I know he was banged up for you guys last year, but what was it you liked about him that you decided you wanted to bring him here?
So Tevin, he's pure gas. I mean, he is when he gets the ball in his hand and he makes that one cut, it's like he's shot out of a cannon. He's got tremendous speed. He's got tremendous mindset when the ball is in his hand. In terms of breaking tackles, falling forward, creating positive yardage, and his leadership, his on-the-field demeanor, just all of it, his practice habits. He represents what we covet, and to have him here, especially since we do have a very young backfield, to have him here is awesome.
Along those lines, with all the guys you have, I'm just curious philosophically. Some places you've been had a workhorse back, Arian Foster and Marshawn Lynch. How do you see, having that one bell cow guy versus running back by committee?
The league is changing some. I do believe that. I think I do think when you come at them in waves, it's a lot harder on a defense. I mean, when you're just able to wear down. Now there are some guys. Derrick Henry still does it. There's a few of those, and if you have one, you have one, but you never want to force the issue, and you want to share the load and give these guys more of a chance to have longevity in their careers, because feeding them the ball that much can also be a negative. But when you look at the backfields that we have, they all have different skill sets. Tevin is explosive and fast. You got P. Ryan, who's big power back that can get downhill in a hurry. Obviously, MC is a very agile, quick back. Ty Johnson is explosive. I'm sure I'm forgetting someone, but it's each back has a unique trait, and being able to kind of find a role for them is going to be what's fun throughout this process.
Just to confirm, I guess a little bit is I think some will hear contract and Jamison Crowder, and obviously look at his deal, realizing there's basically no guaranteed money left, and see it as and you have Elijah Moore, who's a pretty good slot guy, and see as a potential parting of ways. That's not the case. You still expect Jamison to be on this team this year?
Absolutely. Jameson's definitely got a role here, and we're excited to have him.
Quick follow-up that is not Crowder related. We've obviously only seen Zach practice a couple of times so far, but as you've mentioned, and it's pretty obvious, is that he has the strong arm where he can make all the throws and has like crazy velocity. But we've seen a couple passes where he's taken that off and he's had the touch throws. There was the one to Keelan Cole, another one down the sideline to Michael Carter. Is it uncommon at all to have a young quarterback that has that much arm strength, but also has the ability to throw the fastball and the changeup and mix them up pretty interchangeably?
I don't know if it's uncommon, but for him to, there was another rep in there. If you guys remember from Wednesday. Defense was running a coverage that vacated the middle of the field, and he had Berrios down the middle, and he just zipped it in there and didn't try to do anything cute with it. He just got it to him in a hurry. And like some young quarterbacks might try to make the perfect throw, he got it in and out of his hands as quickly as possible and got it to him as quickly as possible so he could go create with the ball. And we felt like that was a pretty veteran move. And so we love the mindset of the young man. We love where he's going. There's still stuff he does have to learn, but he does understand. He has great control of his arm, if you want to call it that. It's not just a fastball for sure.
For all the good things that Zach has been doing, what are some of the things that you've seen in these OTAs and practices, so to speak, that maybe he's struggling with, or that are signs of a guy that's still trying to figure it out?
Yeah, there's ebbs and flows. I'm sure you might see a couple today, right? But your session on Wednesday was the first time he was in the red zone, and the offense was in the red zone, and everything gets tighter, and that's where rookies traditionally struggle, because the windows are tighter, the decisions have to be made faster. That's where the difference between field goals and touchdowns win football games. And so when you saw that, like, those are the areas of situational football he's going to have to improve at, obviously. And but you just love the kid's demeanor, you love his mindset, you love the way he's attacking everything, and you love the progress. And now it's just a matter of continuing to get reps, get live reps, get game reps, and go through the bumps and bruises. But you trust that his mindset is not going to let him fail.